Chapter 1: Shadows of Belief. The year is 1789. New England, a land of rugged beauty and nascent democracy, is gripped by a fear older than its cobbled streets. Whispers of vampires, creatures of the night feeding on the lifeblood of the living, slither through the taverns and prayer meetings. The recent exhumations, the suspected consumption cases, have stoked the flames of paranoia, turning neighbor against neighbor. In the shadowed port town of Arkhamstead, a young man named Alaric found himself strangely unmoved by the collective fear. He was a creature of twilight himself, drawn to the darkness that others shunned. His pale face, framed by raven hair, perpetually held a brooding intensity, and his eyes, the color of a stormy sea, seemed to absorb the light around him. Alaric possessed a dangerous curiosity, a fascination with the occult that set him apart from the pious townsfolk. He devoured ancient texts, deciphered forbidden symbols, and whispered forgotten incantations in the solitude of his attic room. His ambition was grand, terrifying even. He sought to unravel the secrets of immortality, to cheat death itself. His mother, Regina, a woman of fiery spirit tempered by the hardships of life, watched him with growing concern. Silver streaks cut through her otherwise vibrant hair, framing sky-blue eyes that held a perpetual sadness. She saw the darkness clinging to her son, a darkness that threatened to consume him. "Alaric, my son," she pleaded one evening, her voice laced with worry as she entered his sanctuary of arcane knowledge. This pursuit is dangerous. Let go of these morbid fantasies. Embrace life while you have it." Alaric looked up, his expression unreadable. "Life is fleeting, mother, a fragile candle extinguished by the slightest breeze. Why settle for such transience when eternity is within reach?" Regina shook her head, her heart aching. She knew she couldn't reach him, not with logic, not with maternal pleas. The darkness had already taken root. Chapter 2: The Serpent's Charm. The only light in Alaric's otherwise bleak world was Serena. She was a vision of springtime, with auburn hair that cascaded down her back like a waterfall of fire and eyes the vibrant green of new leaves. Her laughter was a melody that could briefly dispel the shadows that clung to Alaric, and her touch ignited a fire within him, a warmth that battled against the encroaching cold. Serena saw the troubled soul beneath Alaric's dark facade. She saw his brilliance, his hidden passions, and the vulnerability he tried so hard to conceal. She loved him with a fierce, untamed devotion, hoping that her light could guide him away from the darkness that beckoned. One evening, as they walked along the moonlit bluffs overlooking the turbulent ocean, Alaric confessed his ambition to Serena. He spoke of immortality, of transcending the limitations of mortal flesh, of conquering death itself. Serena listened patiently, her hand clasped tightly in his. When he finished, she spoke softly. "Alaric, true life is not about escaping death, but about embracing the beauty and preciousness of the moments we have. Our love, this shared breath, this is what matters." Alaric looked at her, his heart aching with a conflicting desire. He longed to believe her, to cast aside his obsession and embrace the simple beauty of life with her. But the lure of immortality was too strong, a siren song that promised ultimate power and control. His resolve faltered further when Mirabelle entered his life. She was a creature of the night, a shadow draped in silk and secrets. Her eyes, dark and alluring, held a knowing glint that hinted at forbidden knowledge. She appeared at the dusty bookstore where Alaric frequented, drawn, she claimed, by whispers of his unique talents and interests. Mirabelle spoke of ancient rituals, of forgotten deities, of the true nature of vampires and their path to eternal life. She offered Alaric a glimpse into a world far beyond his wildest imaginings, a world where death was not the end, but merely a transition. He found himself captivated by her seductive promises, drawn to her dangerous allure. He knew that associating with her was a betrayal of Serena, a descent into the abyss, but the temptation was too great to resist. Chapter 3: The Twisted Vine. Hidden within the walls of the sprawling family estate, Alaric's sister, Ella, watched with burning envy. She possessed an unhealthy obsession with her brother, a possessive love that bordered on madness. She saw Serena as a rival, an obstacle to her own twisted desires. Ella was a pale, ethereal figure, her movements like those of a wraith. She spent her days lurking in the shadows, her ears ever attuned to Alaric's movements, his conversations. She hated Serena for stealing his attention, for drawing him away from her. She was also aware of Mirabelle's influence on Alaric, and a flicker of understanding sparked within her. She may not be able to win his love, but perhaps she could manipulate his ambition, use Mirabelle's promises to bind him to her forever. Meanwhile, Regina struggled to keep her family from unraveling. She saw the growing darkness in Alaric, the torment in Serena's eyes, and the unsettling obsession in Ella's demeanor. She felt like a captain on a sinking ship, desperately trying to plug the holes as the water rushed in. One evening, she confronted Alaric about Mirabelle. "Who is this woman, Alaric? She radiates a darkness that chills me to the bone. Stay away from her." Alaric scoffed. "You are blinded by superstition, mother. Mirabelle is simply a scholar, like myself, interested in ancient knowledge." Regina saw the lie in his eyes. She knew that Mirabelle was more than just a scholar, that she represented a path of unspeakable danger. Chapter 4. Descent into Darkness. Alaric, now fully under Mirabelle's influence, began to delve deeper into the occult. He participated in secret rituals in the woods outside Arkhamstead, chanting ancient incantations under the pale glow of the moon. He learned the true nature of vampires, not just as mythical monsters, but as beings who had unlocked the secrets of immortality through the manipulation of life force. The rituals involved sacrifice, a chilling reality that tested Alaric's resolve. Mirabelle assured him that it was a necessary step, a small price to pay for eternal life. He convinced himself that it was for the greater good, that his pursuit of immortality would ultimately benefit humanity. As Alaric descended further into darkness, he distanced himself from Serena. He could no longer bear to look into her green eyes, to see the disappointment and heartbreak reflected back at him. He lied to her, telling her that he no longer loved her, that his ambitions lay elsewhere. Serena, heartbroken but not defeated, vowed to save Alaric from himself. She knew that Mirabelle was leading him down a dangerous path, and she was determined to pull him back, even if it meant facing the darkness alone. Chapter 5. The Serpent's Embrace. The final ritual was planned for the night of the blood moon. Alaric, Mirabelle, and a coven of shadowy figures gathered in an ancient burial ground, the air thick with the stench of decay and the weight of forgotten souls. Ella, having discovered the location of the ritual, followed them, her heart pounding with a mixture of fear and excitement. She saw Alaric standing at the center of a circle of chanting figures, his eyes gleaming with an unholy light. As the ritual reached its climax, Mirabelle revealed her true form. Her beautiful facade melted away, revealing a monstrous creature, a true vampiress who had been manipulating Alaric all along. Her goal was not to grant him immortality, but to use him as a vessel, a sacrifice to replenish her own fading life force. Alaric, horrified, realized the extent of his betrayal. He had been a fool, a pawn in Mirabelle's twisted game. Just as Mirabelle lunged at Alaric, Serena burst into the burial ground, wielding a silver dagger blessed by the village priest. She plunged the dagger into Mirabelle's heart, severing the connection between her and Alaric. A scream of unimaginable anguish echoed through the night as Mirabelle crumbled into dust. The coven of shadowy figures scattered, disappearing into the darkness. Chapter 6. Redemption or Damnation. Alaric, freed from Mirabelle's influence, collapsed to the ground, his body racked with guilt and despair. He had betrayed Serena, endangered his family, and nearly sold his soul for a false promise. Serena rushed to his side, cradling him in her arms. "It's over, Alaric. You're safe now." Ella, consumed by rage and despair, lashed out. She attacked Serena, blaming her for everything that had happened. A struggle ensued, and Ella, in a moment of blind fury, lunged at Alaric with a shard of broken glass. Regina, who had followed Serena to the burial ground, intervened, throwing herself in front of Alaric. The shard of glass pierced her heart. Regina gasped. Her eyes filled with a loving sadness as she looked at Alaric. "Live, my son. Live a good life." With those words, she breathed her last, leaving Alaric shattered and alone. In the aftermath, Alaric was left to grapple with the consequences of his actions. He had pursued immortality, but in doing so, he had destroyed everything he held dear. He turned away from the occult, dedicating his life to helping others. He used his knowledge of ancient texts to decipher lost languages and preserve historical artifacts. He honored his mother's memory by living a life of compassion and service. Whether he found true redemption or remained forever haunted by the shadows of his past remained an open question. But in the dark and haunting landscape of 1789 New England, Alaric had learned a harsh and unforgettable lesson: that true immortality lies not in escaping death, but in embracing life, in cherishing the love and connections that make it worth living.